Hello, Sachin sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Prachi this side.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. This is your first session.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, so I have people in the waiting room now. I'll keep them in the waiting room, right? Only
Just
allow.
just a minute. You have the demo session.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So our sequence will be now like this. You know the sequence?
Yes, sir. So you will introduce, and then I'll do the PPT. Then I'll hand it over to you. Then you'll introduce the
Great.
speaker.
Okay.
And speaker का भी PPT में ही चला रहे हो. ये decide हुआ था demo में.
Okay. You are going to run the PPT.
For the speaker as well as for myself. Yes.
नहीं अभी कौन रन नहीं करने वाला है? आप रन करने वाली है कि?
हाँ जी, मैं ही करूंगी अपने डिवाइस से.
ओके ठीक है. देख लेना. स्पीकर से बात हो गई है ना आज डेमो में?
हाँ जी.
नो इशू. अभी आप सब रूम में कितने लोग दिख रहे हैं पार्टिसिपेंट्स?
अभी 12 लोग आए हुए हैं.
ठीक है. अभी वो जादव सर को इन कर लो स्पीकर.
वो नहीं आए हुए अभी. मैंने फोन करूं?
हाँ उनको फोन कर लो. वो होने चाहिए ना पहले तो.
हाँ जी, चेक. Yes, sir. I've communicated to him. He's joining.
Okay. Just let him come.
हाँ जी.
खाली 11 लोग दिख रहे हैं.
12 लोग हैं जी.
12 ही है. So you are joined from yesterday?
Today only, sir.
Today only?
हाँ जी. अभी मेरे को बस 6 बजे मिला. 6 भी नहीं, 7 बजे मिली है पीपीटी करने के लिए.
क्या चीज?
पीपीटी मेरे पास 7 बजे आई है, फाइनल जो रिवाइज पीपीटी है.
थोड़ा सा 5-7 मिनट बोल लेना आराम से, कोई दिक्कत नहीं.
सर आज के लिए थोड़ा like excuse me for whatever I do because I've just received it. I had only 45 minutes to go through it.
नो इशू. कोई दिक्कत नहीं. थोड़ा सा पॉइंट आउट करके खाली ब्रेक नहीं करना है. जो भी आपको जिसमें आप कंफर्टेबल है ना वो विद दैट. और स्पीकर को बताया क्या he has to mix both the language हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश.
So I'm sure अभी आएंगे तो आप एक बार फिर से रिमाइंड करा दीजिएगा.
अभी पीपल सब 8 बज गए, वो नहीं आए. लोग आ गए, पार्टिसिपेंट्स आ गए तो 8 तो बज गए. पार्टिसिपेंट्स को कर लो इन, मैं कर लूंगा. वो अच्छा नहीं लगता, लेट हो रहा है.
एक सेकंड होल्ड कीजिएगा सर. I'm putting myself on mute.
पिंकी मैडम इन कर लीजिए लोगों को.
सर कर दूं सबको एडमिट?
एडमिट कर लो. पर पिंकी मैडम ज्वाइन कर रही है क्या?
पिंकी मैम, हाँ जी, उनको एंटर करा है अभी.
पिंकी मैडम.
हेलो.
1 मिनट तो ऑलरेडी लेट है आप. पहले इधर चलेगा।
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. वैसे भी 8 बजे सर।
अरे सॉरी बोल दिया, इंडिया में सब हो जाएगा। सॉरी, थैंक्स बट सब। प्राची मैडम, सबको इन कर लीजिए, अभी 8:01 हो गया है।
कर दिया सर।
जाधव सर,
हॅलो,
गुड इव्हनिंग.
गुड इव्हिनिंग सर.
कसे आहात सर?
एकदम मजेत, व्यवस्थित. तुम्ही कसे आहात?
ऑल वेल, ऑल वेल.
ओके. झालं, आलं ना, जॉईनिंग झालं.
पिंकी मैडम, प्राची मैडम.
हाँ जी सर।
Shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Yes sir.
झालं. ओके.
मैं लाइव कर दूं?
Sure. Please go live, Prachi.
1 second. I'm just posting the live.
गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन। आज का इंडियन नर्सरीमैन एसोसिएशन ऑर्गेनाइज्ड वेबिनार सीरीज सीट्स फॉर फ्यूचर वेबिनार सीरीज में मैं सचिन ब्राह्मणकर आप सभी का तहे दिल से स्वागत करता हूं। आज का जो हमारा टॉपिक रखा गया है दैट इज ऑन इन विट्रो प्रोपोगेशन ऑफ फोलिएज प्लांट्स। सो टुडे
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Sachin sir, I think he's rejoined.
Yes. सचिन सर का आवाज नहीं आ रहा है.
हाँ जी, he's rejoining. Hello everyone. I request all the participants to kindly keep themselves on mute and their videos off during the entire webinar. And we have Sachin sir here. Sachin sir.
So today we are with us Dilip Jadhav sir, from founder and CMD of A1 Biotech Private Limited, Pune. I welcome all the participants, those who have joined with us for this webinar. This credit goes to our president, Mr. YP Singh Saab. Today is the 63rd webinar of Indian Nurserymen Association, and under his dynamic leadership, IN is taking step by step ahead, going step by step ahead, and whatever the activities did by the INA under the dynamic leadership of YP Singh. So I request Prachi Madam to share the activities of Indian Nurserymen Association with all the participants. So over to you, Prachi Madam.
Thank you, sir. Hello, everyone. I am Prachi Kohli, and I will be taking you all through a small journey of our initiatives at INA. I hope my screen is visible.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So, the journey of INC started in 1987, and for the past 33 years, we have been calling ourselves as the Green Journey. The vision or mission of us at INC is to provide education, market development, and research, and make INC a global brand. Our INC journey was founded by our founding father and our first president, Sri Arjun Das Agarwal ji, who was from Haryana, and this visionary thinking and untiring efforts continue to date and pave the way for the INC even today. I'm proud to announce that our leadership board over a period of 33 years, currently under the leadership of Sri YP Singh ji, has now turned global. Sri YP Singh ji is our 9th president of INA, who took charge in 2019, and under a short span of his leadership, we proudly announce that INA is now going global. He is a vital link in connecting the entire INA leadership throughout the country. As you can see, this our INA current GC board is spread throughout the diverse regions of India, with entire diversity and geographical representation represented widely. We also have a green ambassador spread throughout from various sectors and various communities. The sapling that was planted in 1987 is now concerned with over 36,000 members, 3,600 members in 2019 on our path towards excellence. The INA journey is now towards its 33rd year of establishment in 2020, and an extended network of more than 2 lakh farmers. Our strength is now extended towards industry of plant breeders, greenhouse gases, nursery growers, retailers, distributors, educators, researchers, and many other stakeholders. We are also working towards an NWC, that is a National Working Committee of Indian Nurserymen Association, which will have representation from each chapter at various levels of national, zonal, and state level governing bodies. Our thematic areas of work include PR and advocacy, networking and partnerships, capacity building and study tours, publication and papers, events and exhibitions, research and development, and fundraising. The INA also contributed extensively towards the relief under the COVID-19 pandemic and has been successful to solve the problems of plant nurseries which they were facing under the lockdown as a consequence of the pandemic. Sri YP Singh ji, President of INA, is tirelessly pushing the agenda for the upliftment of the nursery sector through National Horticulture Board, Government of India, and has been submitting proposals and demands in order to bring many financial schemes for the nursery sector as part of her advocacy program under the National Horticulture Board. The review meetings of CIA have been successful in relaunching the subsidiary scheme for polyhouses greenhouse for all types of nurseries. INA has also advocated the government to conduct a national survey and map out all nurseries according to their products and setup, and also raised and advocated for the issue of a Nursery Act. We are proud to announce that INA's membership is now driven global under the leadership of our current and ninth president, Sri YP Singh ji, and has witnessed many partnerships from various countries globally, like Japan, Vietnam, Lebanon, South Africa, Netherlands, Italy, Colombia, and Bangladesh. INA is not only a community of network and partnership, but also is involved extensively towards matters to progress your profession, enjoy personalized message events and webinars such as these, get expert knowledge on exchange and know-how, and get comprehensive resources to accelerate future perspectives along with leadership and volunteership. INA also releases a monthly section of our magazine called Nursery Today, which has over 4,000 copies in 30,000 plus magazines. You can also visit our website and download e-copies of a monthly magazine. It also not only publishes monthly editions, but also a tri-yearly publication, which involves Directory for the Horticulture Industry. The third edition is due this year. Under its COVID relief pandemic research, where the world went completely virtual, INA started an initiative called Seed for Future, the webinar series, of which today we have gathered here as a part of. We have hosted almost more than 25 webinars on 50 different subjects and have received 4,000 plus participation. Indian Nurserymen Association, as a part of its Horti Pro India event, has exhibited the India's largest international exhibition on ornamental plants, nursery, landscape, floriculture, greenhouse, arboriculture, and allied industries, and has become a widely acknowledged trendsetter as various national and international platforms. These are some of the pictures from our last event of 2018 and 19. Under another initiative, INA organized 33rd Delhi Tourism Garden Festival in organization and association with Delhi Tourism Transportation Development Corporation Limited, India. It was a 3-day event, which was a green success of this year's theme called the Green Balcony. The INA started an initiative called Project Sampradhan and encouraged its wide network of members to contribute towards the PM Care funds in view of the global pandemic. We have broken records in this department and collected and donated more than 51 lakh rupees towards the PM Care funds. With these amazing success stories, I thank you all for your patience and participation. You can contact us on the given phone numbers and email ID for any query or discussion, or visit the website for details also given in the chat box. Over to you, Sachin sir.
Thank you, Prachi madam. Today we have a webinar on in vitro propagation of foliage plants. And today we have with us a very knowledgeable person, very good experienced person, very sincere person, a man who is always down to earth, very cooperative, a person I saw with a good humbleness and taking his organization on the top of the world. So I welcome our today's speaker, Mr. Dilip Jadhav sir, founder and CMD of A1 Biotech Private Limited, Pune. He has started A1 Biotech Private Limited in 2003. Later in 2005, A1 Biotech becomes a private limited company and commenced their business operations on a large scale. Jadhav sir did extensive work in research and development. His expertise in tissue culture enables A1 Biotech to create a desired plant prototype and then propagate thousands of similar healthy plants using tissue of the plant by plant batches. Under his dynamic leadership, A1 Biotech is supplying high quality culture-rich plants to farmers, industries, and corporate houses. A1 Biotech has been acknowledged with several awards and appreciation for their contribution in the field of protective plant tissue cultures. So today we all have the great opportunity to take the experience from our keynote speaker, Mr. Dilip Jadhav sir. So I welcome him on behalf of Indian Nurserymen Association, and I request him to deliver his today's talk on in vitro propagation. So over to you, Jadhav sir.
Thank you, Sachin Saab, and thank you all team members of INA. Good evening, everybody. Today we are giving some brief of tissue culture and what is the scope of tissue culture in ornamental plant, fruit plant, and other industries of the plant industries. But today we are choosing a little bit small subject.
Video is not seen.
Hello.
I request all the participants to keep their microphone on mute. It's a very important session today. That is in vitro propagation of foliage plants. So I humbly request all the participants keep their microphone on mute. Please go ahead, Jadhav sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. This is a very small section of tissue culture in plant industry, that is the foliage plant. So I will welcome everybody and saying best luck in future in green fingers and green persons who are joining to this session. Sachin sir gives my introduction. In this tissue culture field, I am working from 1993. First 10 years, I am doing a job in a limited company for export the tissue culture plants. After 10 years, I start my business in a small size. And nowadays, we are start up a good production and deliver a good plant to the all over India and all over nurserymen. So today's topic is the in vitro propagation of foliage plant. Please next. Next slide. Okay. So there are methods of propagation which are generally used in a plant propagations. First propagation method is the seeds. Some plants are propagated by seeds, just like a cereals. In farmers, they are use seeds. Some plants we can propagate by seeds. Some plants we can propagated by cuttings. You see the pictures of the nodal portion. We take the nodal portion, they rooted in a, with the help of the root hormones, and the plant should be propagated. Some plants are propagated by bulbs, by scale, by layering, grafting, and leaf cutting. There are many methods for the cuttings. But the recent method and high profile method to propagate the plants by in vitro, means the tissue culture. This method is the very good method, rapid production method. There are some in last 10 to 20 years, this method is highly appreciated all over world, and majority plants, they are propagated by this method. Next, please. So in vitro propagation, for the ornamental plant, for the fruit plant, we can propagate flowering plants. We can tissue culture the fruit plants also. We can tissue culture the grasses also. We can tissue culture foliage plant, tree plants, vegetables. And recent trend is, the big recent trend is coming out, the aquatic plant. This type of plants you can propagate by tissue culture. Majority companies they are doing the flowering plants by tissue culture, just like gerbera, roses, xanthadesia, and many more flowering plants also, anthuriums also doing by tissue culture. The good method for the propagation and rapid and fast method for propagation is there. Fruit plant, in fruit plant, majority tissue culture lab are doing the propagated bananas. Some lab are doing the propagation of pomegranate, then avocados, then the citrus also. They are engaged for the propagation in fruit plants. Some tissue culture labs are engaged into propagate by grasses varieties, which are used as ornamental landscaping and all this type of grasses also. Some companies or some labs are engaged with the propagation of foliage plant. Foliage plants means the indoor plant which are grown about 1 to 2 feet height. The foliage plant is used only the color of the leaves, shape of the leaves, the good colors, good shape, and which are growing majority in indoors. That plants is just called as a foliage plant. In that criteria, the most of the aroid families, calatheas, and all these majority plants are come this foliage plant. And this market, foliage plant, indoor plants market is also good, and they are increasing nowadays. We can also propagate the trees varieties also, just like teak plants and bamboo plants. They are also a good scope for the tree plants also. Vegetables also we can propagate it by tissue cultures. And recently, majority lab and majority research is going on for the aquatic plants. That also easily propagated by tissue culture. Next, please. So we come to our specific point for the foliage plant. In the foliage plant, many more varieties. We took some examples for the varieties names, but lot of varieties can be propagated by the tissue cultures, and they are doing the good market in all over world and India also. In that, Syngonium is a good plant for the tissue culture. In Syngonium genera, it is a aroid family, Araceae members. In Syngonium, near about 50 to 60 clones are available nowadays with the color, shape of plant, size of plant, climbing plant, bushy plant, and dwarf varieties. There are many more types and many more variations is observed in Syngoniums. And secondly, Spathiphyllum is also a good variety for the tissue culture, and it is a highly propagated by tissue culture because Syngonium, Spathiphyllum, Philodendron, these varieties, they produce the seeds, but the seeds, they are not viable or they are not in quantity to do the propagation. And the cutting and separation of the plant, they didn't give the good shape for the potted plants. So the best technology for these aroids or for this foliage plant is the tissue culture, and is a good demand in market also. Some philodendrons having a much more varieties in philodendrons. That is also good. Foliage plant is good for the tissue culture and good marketable plant. Nowadays, Aglaonema is also doing a very good catch a good market. In Aglaonema, there are many new varieties, new mutations, new varieties developed, and they are also doing a good catch the good market in also in all over India, and that is also good for the tissue culture. Then Diphonbachia, then Calathea, ferns, cordylines, ficuses, anthuriums, pothos plants. There are many more varieties, and sky is the limit for the tissue culture and for the market like these varieties. Each variety having minimum 20 species. So you just calculate in our tissue culture area for only in foliage plant area, there are near about 3,000 to 4,000 species which are compatible and which are marketable for the tissue culture. So and the demand is also is very good because the foliage plant is used in a low light area. It is an indoor plant. We can use in a your room, in your balcony, in your corridors, in your kitchen, also in your hall, bedrooms, and they give there are many more advantages also. Air purified plants, then air oxygen release plants. There are many more advantages for these foliage plants. So next please. So we'll talk about some advantages of the tissue culture. What is the tissue culture? Tissue culture, as per my opinion, tissue culture is just like a Xerox copy. What is your first print? That print you can multiply in n numbers of the plant in a short period, and that plant should be true to types. Your mother plant characters and your culture the plant character is same, so the variation is very less. True to type plant you can propagate it by the tissue culture. Secondly, disease-free plants you can propagate it by tissue culture because tissue culture is a aseptic condition. They could not enter any disease virus. If you took the good mother stock, you select the good mother stock which are virus free, disease free, bacterial free, and that initiated meristem or that initiated cell they can produce a disease-free plant. So tissue culture gives a good disease-free plants. And thirdly, high production in minimum space. Because tissue culture plant is grown in a small size of bottle is near about 6 to 8 inch centimeter height bottles. And in bottles, there are many plants, 40 to 50 plants can be accumulate. It's required a very low space and it gives the high production. For example, for just example, if you took the banana for the suckering, one banana plant gives near about 10 to 15 suckers per year. But if you took the tissue culture initiation for the banana plants, in 1 year from one plant for that 10 suckers, you can multiply within a year 1 suckers into 1050 per sucker. That goes to the near about 1 lakh plants from one single mother clone. So just imagine the in conventional method by cutting it is some restrictions, in layering some restriction, in grafting is have some restrictions, bulbs propagation have also some restrictions, seeds also have some restrictions. But in tissue culture, one single explant, if you take in a lab, within a year, that a single explant gives near about 1000 to 1500 plant up to the year. So if you initiated 1000 plant, 1000 explant in a, for example, January, up to the December, you can receive the plant 1000 into 100, 1050 into multiply by 1050. So that number you should produce. So high production in minimum space is available, is the capacity of tissue culture. Then speed up of the plant production, because if you require the maximum plant in a minimum time, if there are some extensive offer or extensive demand of the market of a specific variety within a year to year, then the production can be speed up by the tissue culture only. Then tissue culture also transforming the plant with the new genera. There are many genetic engineering. You can do the variations. You can suddenly also you can get some variations. You can process, it is a technically some parts. You can do the somaconal variation, protoplast fusion. There are many types they can do in a tissue culture, and you can transform or you can develop a new gene also. Or by fault also you can got some new variety which are heritable or non-heritable also. They can also you produce by the tissue culture. In majority seed companies, in majority flowering companies, in majority agriculture companies, they have a small tissue culture setup for their research work, for the developing the disease resistance variety, for the developing the high yielding variety, for developing high flowering variety, new colors, new size, all this type of the work also doing in the genetic engineering side. So tissue culture is the good source for the transforming plant with the new genes also. And last one is the round of the year. You can do the maximum production of the by the tissue culture, because tissue culture is the process of control condition. We can give the artificial light, we can give the artificial temperature, we can give the artificial media, total is controlled. So there is no season. So there is a 12 months is the season, 365 days is the control condition. So you can give the proper round of the year the production of that specific varieties. So there is some diagrammatic view of the tissue culture lab. Some in tissue culture lab, first is the change room, second media room, then culture transfer room, growth room, dispatch room, and washing area. This is the room setup. I will give some diagrammatic setup of the tissue culture lab also. I will discuss the one by one later on. Next, please. Hello. Yes. First way change room is that you just put up the aprons and cap and mask and go to the inside of the lab. So this is the some pictures of the media room. Media room means the kitchen of the tissue culture lab. The media means what? Media means the what plant required. Plant required macro elements, micro elements, vitamins, amino acids, plant hormones, rooting hormones, what it may be. That should be cooked in this room area. That we prepare the specific media for the specific plant, because every plant have a different type of media. Every plant have a different type of multiplication media and rooting media. Just we prepare in this room the media, prepared the media, and autoclaving is done in this room. The autoclaving process is the 121 degrees centigrade for the 15 to 30 minutes, depending on the quantity contained in the bottle. Specifically, one culture required minimum 8 ml of the culture. So according to that, if you want to put the 8 cultures in one bottle, so 8 into 8, that quantity you can put in a bottle and autoclave it and goes to the next for plantation of that media. Next one. So second, after that preparing the media, second room is the culture transfer room. This room is the heart of the tissue culture lab. It is totally controlled, class 10,000 facilities. The laminar is the class 100 facilities, because in laminar airflow there are HEPA filters. The HEPA filter size is near about 0.3 micron size particles only came from the front side of the filters. So the table in this area, the working table is the completely sterile, and the operator also doing a completely aseptic work. They can use the paper in the below. There is also sterile. This is the bottles of tissue culture media content bottle. We can cut the plants, divide the plants and planted in the next bottle. When the bottle is fully grown, that life is that bottle is grown within 1 month, and 1 month they fully grown, then we will multiply it, divide it, and transfer into the next bottle. Majority maximum cycle of the culture is the 30 days to 40 days, and in one bottle you can multiply about 3 times, 4 times, 5 times also. But majority plant they can multiply in 3 times, 2 to 3 times. So if you have a initial culture of 10,000 numbers, within a 30 days or 40 days, the plant becomes 10,000 to 20,000. Next month it becomes 20,000 to 40,000. Then next month it becomes 40,000 to 80,000. After that 80,000, you can manage some plant. If from that 80,000, 20,000 goes to the for rooting, or 30,000 goes to the for rooting, and remaining goes to the for multiplication. Suppose 50,000 do the multiplication, it go become a 1 lakh. Next month you put a 50,000 for rooting and 50,000 to again multiplication. This process is continuously carry on throughout the year, but there is a limitations of multiplication cycle also. The maximum multiplication cycle is goes to the 12 times, 10 to 12 times for the good result and for the non-vitrification. When you do the maximum multiplication, then some plants should be vitrified and they not perform well. They not grown in a winning hardening also. They are not doing give the good result in field also, so that the basic and good result which come into the stage first to 12 stage. Next, please. So first we see the media area, second we see the culture transfer room, and third is the growth room. Growth room is the totally control room. There are in natural plants, they require the sunlight for the photosynthesis. So in this room, we are using the tube light for the photosynthesis. There are specific criteria for light intensity also. In the rack, the plants require near about 100 to 1,500 lux. And for the heat control, we can use AC. and room temperature is good for the growing the plant, the 25 plus minus 2. We are maintaining this 365 days. The light period, photo period is also specified. 14 hours is the good photo period for the plant growing, and 10 hours is the dark period for the opening the stomatas and all these things. So in 40 hours, when you give the light to the cultures, they can do the photosynthesis, they can grow very well. Light intensity, light lux also is calculated for variety wise. Temperature is also maintained. Some variety required the low temperature, some variety required the higher temperature, some variety required the photo period is longer photo period, some variety required the smaller photo period. So this is also maintained the variety wise. So it is advisable if you work in the tissue culture lab, the multiple growth room is the good chance for the variety wise growing. Next, please. So last stage is coming for the dispatch room. Dispatch room is also is a control room. The dispatch should be done in a room temperature near about 25 degree temperature, because the plant total whole life goes to the 25 plus minus 2 degree temperature, with having a light lux is near about 1000 to 1500 lux. So if you do the harvesting, the plant comes for the dispatch room, it should be the height ranges to the 3 centimeter to 4 centimeter, 6 centimeter size, and the multiple plants should be come in dispatch room. You can pack this total plant bunches in a corrugated boxes or in a thermocol boxes or in a boxes also, and it is ready for the dispatch type. It is a brief, going to the brief description for the tissue culture. Next, please. So second is the what is the steps of the tissue cultures. First steps is the selection of mother plant. Second is initiation. Third is multiplication. Fourth is rooting. Then harvesting, weaning and hardening, and dispatch. Next, please. So selection of mother plant. There are criteria for the selection. You should select the good, healthy, disease-free, and total developed plant for the tissue culture, because when you took the initiation material, because normally for commercially and production type of tissue culture, we can do the apical meristem for the plant regeneration. There are many processes for the plant regeneration. There is a embryogenesis, and there is very more type of tissue culture also done. But in commercial point of view, the meristem culture or shoot tip culture is the good for the tissue culture. That shoot tip and in meristem, all the plant whole characters are covered in shoot tip culture. So the selection is very important. If you select the plant, that should be the disease free, that should be insect free, it should be wholly grown plant, and having a grown in a control condition. Control means what? In a poly house and in a shed net, or it should not be give the higher doses of the fertigation, not should give the higher doses of any other hormones when you should select the mother plant. Then if you select the good mother plant and disease-free, virus-free mother plant, in whole process of tissue culture, you regenerate the good plantlets or good stock of the production. Next, please. So initiation process, we just give the diagrammatic for the initiation process. Majority commercially used as a shoot tip meristem culture. The meristem is available in the tip of the every plant, just like upper node. Second is also bud is also good for the initiation for commercially, but bud initiation and apical meristem initiation gives the some different result. Apical meristem is give a good result for the production. you took the cut in this side, the two nodal portion, the center portion is apical meristem. Apical meristem is a little bit invisible. It covered with the many covers of the layers of the xylem phloem. You can cut it, select the small as goes to the small size and put it on a media. They can develop the plant within only develop the leaves within 4 to 5 weeks. Then you can use some cytokinins, because the cytokinins is used for the multiplication, auxins is used for the rooting purpose. Cytokinins having a different type of cytokinins. New cytokinins is also comes in the market for the specific varieties also. So majority BAP is kinetin, and BAP is the basic cytokinins which are used in a tissue culture. Auxins is the IA, IBA is used for the rooting purpose. So in a zero stage, this called as a zero stage. This is the first stage. First stage, you can use a little bit smaller cytokinins, then it regenerates the plant, it develop the, multiply the shoots. After that, axillary buds in this process is come out. After that, you can replant in a next month or next media, then that axillary buds or branches plant, it generates the stem also, it generates the roots also. In that in this process, you can little bit use as a auxins, so that root initiation is started. In third generation, third stage, the whole plant should be regenerated. That gives the leaves, stems, and roots. All these plants is developed within a 3 months period. After that, that batch should be become, and you start to the multiplying in lab. So this is the total process of the initiation. First, we see the selection of plant. Second, we see the how to initiate the plant. In the initiation, there are some process selection of meristems. After that, that should be surface sterilized. Then bleach treatment is available for the remove the upper surface of the total contaminant, virus, bacteria, and all these things. It is a total do in aseptic condition. Media is the main process of the media for the development of tissue culture plant. Basically, the Murasig and Skook media basically used in all type of the tissue culture plants, in RSA member or in non-woody plant. Just like non-woody plant means they have they don't have wood, just like Spathiphyllum, Syngonium, Sept. It is a pseudo-stem-like plant. And sludgy plant, they have stems, but their stem is not a woody stem. So it is good for the tissue culture and easy give the result in a every media. Basically, Murasig and Skook media is good for the this process. Majority we can use that type of media. Little bit changes is there. Some other media also, specific media also is doing for the some varieties. Calathea is a different variety, different media. Gerbera is different media. But Roses, rootstock also doing by the tissue culture, that is also different media. But majority, 99%, all the tissue culture persons, they can use the MS media and they are give the good result. But the chance is only the how to control the auxin and cytokinins level. That depends on the that gives the good result. There are the combination of auxin and cytokinins. If cytokinins increase, the multiplication goes to the higher side. If auxin increase, the rooting stage give the good result. If the cytokinin and auxins, they are equal in proportion, in that case, the callus may be regenerate. And callus is the little bit dangerous for the vitrification. In a production point of view, the callus is not important. In a research point of view, callus is important, because callus gives the vitrified plant. They can regenerate any different type of planting material. Then third one is the incubation. Incubation means that we can transfer the plant in a new media, in a defined media with the control of auxin and cytokinins level, and then put in a growth room. That is the incubation. Next, please. Next slide. So we just brief up the how to do the tissue culture and all this type of process. This is the, in this last slide, first initiation, then multiplication. We just discuss on the multiplication. In first, we show you that these two bottles having a fully grown bottles. This is the growth of 1 month, near about 4 to 5 weeks. In this photo, you see the in bottles, I put the small pieces. There are some having some growing points in that tissue, in that cuttings. We put the cuttings in bottles. This cutting, in first photo, you see the bunch of the cultures cut in the pieces and put in this bottle. After 1 month, after 4 to 5 weeks, this bottle become like this. So multiplication is nothing but the grown plant you separate in control condition, aseptic condition in front of the laminar airflow with the disease-free environment, pack in a bottle and place in an incubation chamber, means a growth room for the continuous photo periods and temperature. Next, please. So this is the rooting. See the base of the plant, they have rooted plants. In this stage, we can use only auxins and the cytokinin level is 0. If the cytokinin level is 0, then plant do not reproduce the multiple axillary because it is a control. In this base, see the white color jelly-like structure, it is a media, which are just discussed with the media room. The media is autoclave with a 121 degrees temperature with 15 minutes. And for the solidification, we can use agar-agar media, gel media, agar-agar or gel type substance. Some plants also grown in a liquid media also. But when you use the liquid media, then suspension is, agitation is required for that because the O2 CO2 ratio should be maintained in that cases. So in this media, for rooting, we can use only, you can use only the auxins so that root initiation is done, and only one shoot can grow with the whole plant. Do not multiply the cultures. If your batch is having a 10,000 number, in that 10,000 number, you can put the 5,000 on only auxins media, so it is rooted and come out of the lab for the dispatch. And the remaining should be goes to the in cytokinin media, so it multiplying in further batch. Next, please. So harvesting as a dispatch, you can say as a dispatch or harvesting. In a international level, some having a criteria for the plant harvesting, that is a single shoot, double shoot, having a root, having a size near about 1 to 5 centimeter. So this is good quality for the plant. For in winning and hardening, they give the good result. The stem size, leaf area, and the basic, this is the stem tissue. This stem tissue having some storage material which are alive up to the in the cocoa media or in the peat moss media. They can use this food material for the this survival of this total plant. For this type of cuttings, this called as a in vitro micro cuttings also. This type of cuttings may be survive up to the 10 days also within a 25-degree temperature. And even though if there are no light also, they can survive 10 days also. And when they put in a winning and hardening, they start to growing within a 1 month. Next, please. So see, this is this photo, winning and hardening. This is a filling of this type of small plants in a tray. The tray is containing a good media. So peat moss is also good media. Very low EC, fine media of the sterile media we can use as a cocoa peat also. We can use the for winning and hardening for the tray, first filling tray. There are many options of the media. There are many research done in the media also. There are many packings also available for the plantation of the tissue culture plant. You just plant this plant in the this type of tray, and you can give the, for winning period, it required the humidity near about 80%, and temperature not more than the 28 degree. So 24 degree to 28 degree is the temperature requirement in the tunnels, and near about 80 to 85 degree, 85% of humidity is required for the first 15 days. Yeah, first 30 days. Then the total whole plant, the root are developed and plant should be winning. Winning and hardening means the little bit, the definition means the plants grows in a controlled condition in lab, the complete standard condition, that is 25-degree temperature throughout year, throughout days, but they are hard, they are come out of lab, they have a sudden stroke of the outer temperature or climatic condition, so it need to be slowly hardened. So in 15 days you maintain a 80-degree, 80% of 80 to 90% of humidity up to the 25-degree temperature. After 15 days you can reduce the humidity, goes to the 70% humidity, and increase little bit temperature up to the 26, 27, 28 degree, so that the plant should be hardened little bit day by day. After 1 month you can put this plants, or put this tray near about 60% humidity and temperature, that is the 26, 27 at 28-degree temperature. And after 2 months, that tray or that plant should be little bit hardened, and you can place in a outer side of the tunnel, 1.5 months or 2 months outside of the tunnel, having a poly house or shed net. Do not give the direct sunlight for that, and for next 1 month, and they become a hardened plants. And see, this the second photo is, there are total batches of the hardened plants. So it is come out from the tunnels, and tunnels from the 1.5 months. Next, please. So this called as the young plants also. This is the some plants of cuttings also. It's purposely shown here, and some packing size also, because young plant business is very huge and very high in coming days, because this process is gives the lot of efforts and lot of time to produce a high quality and high quantity of the planting material. It requires, when we plan by tissue culture one plant to do the initiation, from the initiation process to the this type of box packing dispatch process, we required minimum 12 to 15 months. So you just plan what you are introduced in your in a market, that before 14 months you do the planning for that plant. So this is a long process and maximum quantity production process. So this is a packing. I will show you the packing, how to do the packing for tissue culture young plants. So in majority foliage plant used for the ornamental purpose. For the there are no flowering, there are only the leaf color, leaf size, and we can use in a various type of gardening, hangings, verticals, and indoors, corridors, and a lot of scope for that foliage plant. Please, next. So after, when we got this young plant, this is the process for the planted in a pot size plant. This is 4-inch pot. We can plant in a quantity in a various colors, various size, leaf size, and various varieties in a one roof, and in good quantity. We can manage by the tissue culture. For the other process, you have some restrictions. So this is my little bit explanation for this tissue culture process and all these things. So you can regenerate the plant by tissue culture in quantity, mass production in minimum space, and maximum production. Next, please. So thank you, everyone. If you have anybody have some questions, or because it is a only brief description, not a little bit technical discussion, because with the having a time limit and all these things. So thank you everybody. If anybody have a doubt, please. Sachin sir. Hello. Hello. Sachin sir.
Sir, thank you very much for sharing very valuable information on in vitro propagation in foliage plants. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Now
sir.
this forum is open for the question and answer session. So I request all the participants, those who have any question, they are free to ask. They can raise their hands also. All the participants are requested. Those who have any question, they are free to ask the question to our Dilip Jadhav sir. Dr. Kalidas sir, please ask your question.
Yes, sir. I have some doubt about how many time duration it will take for the single plant propagation, for single cycle for that single plant. Suppose he told some cycle initiation to rooting media, how much duration it has taken,
Sir,
cost of land also required.
Sir, for initiation process, that is the zero stage. We took the initiation material. If you took the 100 numbers of the meristems, we can initiated, or we can surface sterilize and planted in a initiated media. The multiplication size goes to the 8 months, minimum 8 to 9 months.
How many subcultures, sir?
7 subculturing.
7 subcultures.
First is the zero subcultures. Every month you just calculate, every month is a one cycle. So after 8 months, the batch should be multiple. If you have a 10 initiated culture, in second month you got a 10 only. In third month it become a whole plant. The quantity remain 100 only. After fourth month, it multiplied into 2 numbers. It become a 200
the same
numbers.
Banana plant, like whatever you are saying, the same banana multiplication.
Yes, banana multiplication. Just like a foliage plant and banana is not a different, but in foliage plant, majority plant having a 5 times multiplication. 6 times multiplication. In spathiphyllum species, they require minimum 6 months. You got a complete rooting material within 6 months. It depends on the cycle, multiplication numbers.
Sir.
Yes,
thank
sir,
you.
yes.
Thank you very much, sir. Very nice, elaborately you provide the information to us.
Thank you, sir, Kalidas sir.
Thank you, Jadhav sir. Thank you, Kalidas sir. Dr. Amrita Kashyap is willing to ask one question. Dr. Amrita, madam, please ask your question.
Yes, sir. I'm Dr. Amrita Kashyap from Assam. So I wanted to ask you, sir, you have given a very nice description of each of the stage of tissue culture. So I wanted to ask from subculture, like, the multiplication to rooting. Only the rooting part, sir. How long do you allow the roots to grow in the culture, and about what time for how long?
Okay. Actually, when you put the material on a rooting culture within an oxygen media, the root primordia, the root length, if the root length is about 2 centimeter, less than 2 centimeter is sorry, good for the weaning and hardening. If your root grows in a long length and it become a blackish color on the root in a culture media, that regeneration in a weaning and hardening is little bit critical. So for just calculation, when you put the cultures on rooting media, within a 72 hours, the root primordia is in base of that culture. That depends also how to cut the base of that culture. If you do the good flat cut, then root primordia, it comes in a very minimum times. I observe within 72 hours, within 14 days, the cycle is completed. Some varieties required 30 days, some varieties required 40 days, some varieties required 10 days. But primordia seen, the swelling of the epidermis with the root primordia started, it is near about 14 to 70 hours. It's seen. The length of the root should be a maximum 1 to 2 centimeters only.
Okay.
The small size of root is good for the accommodation in winning and hardening.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So another thing, sir, the media you said you were using the Murashige and Skoog.
Yeah.
So, sir, when you are also saying that there are some things you add or maybe subtract like that. So in that case, you're not using the ready-made MS solutions, right?
No, not at all.
Yes.
Because what happened, basically, I prepare the media, micro, macro, vitamins, amino acids, and all these things. Basic is the Murashige and Skoog. We do the stock solutions of that all media. And that is the good, that is the expertise of the media preparation persons. They have doing the good job in that media, because the main source is the media. Because if you increase a millimole of the any micro, macro, or vitamins or amino acid, that gives the result of the total whole batch in the production level. So I didn't use the ready-made media, because from 93 I am doing the tissue culture lab. So I have I think so totally control on that media, how to use and what type of the results should be come. So majority companies that I seen the companies, majority companies they are doing the micro elements is separate, macro elements is separate. They do the Murashige and Skoog's media's ingredients also in a single bottles. But I don't have any experience for that of the ready-made media, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your answers, in-depth answers.
Thank you, Amrita madam. Thank you, Jadhav sir. Now, Nishant Tiwari sir is willing to ask one question. Nishant Tiwari sir, please ask your question.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for the presentation. Just I want to know that you told that these plants are grown in artificial conditions. So artificial, yeah, sir. So artificial controlled condition will create any kind of difference in quality of vegetables and other plants products as compared to naturally grown plants. Is there any kind of difference, sir, in quality of the plants grown through this tissue culture method? Because just I have gone through one article that the fruits and vegetables that are grown hydroponic method. There was one article that indicated that the quality is different from the naturally grown plants, sir.
Actually, in tissue culture, we give the artificial media. We give the what the plant required, only that things. What type of micro element they required, we give the only that type of micro elements, that type of macro elements, that type of vitamins and amino acids. That is total control. We can't give the excess material to the plant. When you grown that plant in a soil, in soil there are many elements present in soil. Many microbes also present in soil. Many bacterial, fungal, and other flora and fauna is present in the soil. The plant should be fight the other elements, and in that fighting they should be growing. Okay, but in artificial method, that is the total control. Because in tissue culture, the plant should be grown in a bottle with a wrap with the CO2 auto exchange film, give the artificial light with the help of the tube light. What light they required, only that lux we can give. In natural condition, in morning period, the light intensity is low. In 12 o'clock, light intensity is high. In evening time, 2 o'clock is intensive light intensity. The plants struggle for that survival. In control condition, you give what they required so that it become a good and a healthy plant. So you're just talking about the hydroponic. The hydroponic techniques and tissue culture technique is the totally different. Hydroponic gives the product, gives the fruit and vegetables and all these things. Tissue culture is the only multiplication, regenerate the new young plant. That is the total difference.
Then after that, it is planted into the in natural condition.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Vishnu Mihir sir is with us. Vishnu Mihir sir, please ask your question.
Sir, Jadhav sir,
Yes, sir.
Excellent presentation, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, being a researcher, we are using MS Media, ready-made media.
Okay.
But you are telling that stocks you are using, but I am curious that what is the alternative for ammonium nitrate as it is banned? How you are managing this one?
In that ammonium nitrate is nitrogen supplement. They can by combine high media having a reagent that is ammonium nitrate and I think so potassium. Sorry, CaCl2 yeah. MgSO4, they can mix both there and they give the ratio how to use that only. Hello?
Sir, you are audible, sir.
Yes. For high media, they have a reagent of the ammonium nitrate. They combine MS media, the second molecule with the ammonium nitrate, and they sell as a ammonia supplements. That is the product of high media. That should be used for that. Na? And in tissue culture lab, if you have a research station and tissue culture lab, they have authority to purchase a license of 5 kg ammonium nitrate for a specific period. They have a government certification also. Hello?
Sir, you are audible, sir.
Yes. Next.
Sir, there is one question from Bhagyesh Deshmukh. Bhagyesh Deshmukh, madam, please ask your question. Bhagyesh Deshmukh, madam, can you hear me?
Hello? I think
there
so.
is one. I think, is there any question from any participants? 5780, I am not able to know the name. Yes, sir. Please ask your question, sir.
578075, you have been unmuted. Please ask your question.
Hi.
Good evening, Dilip sir.
Good evening, sir.
Myself, Akash Kumar. Thank you, sir, for the presentation. And my question is that what is the scope of aglaonema plants and demand in market?
Through production, through tissue culture or by cutting, and what type of you are going to sell it?
Through tissue culture.
It is a good demand in future coming, I think so, coming 5 years, 10 years also, because it's a very, but the which variety you can select, because in aglaonema, there are many more colors, many more leaf size and many more varieties coming out. So it depends on what is your selection and what is your production capacity, sir.
So according to you, which variety is one of the more demanding?
Majority Indian publics are like or love a bright color. So you can go to the bright colors which having a moderate leaf size and having a foliage, good foliage plant. So it is a need of our Indian peoples. Any colors, but that should be a bright. The size should be a 1 to 2 feet for the foliage plant is a potted plant is good running in our surroundings.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. There is one question from Dutt Science Experiments. Dutt Science Experiments, please ask your question. You are raising your hand. Please ask your question, sir. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible, madam.
Okay. My question is regarding the maturity of the X-plant. Suppose my question is regarding the fruit plants. Suppose mango. Okay. If the X-plant age is, say, 7 years, the plant which we get from the tissue culture will be 7-year-old, or it will be from the initial stage, mean 1-year-old. The maturity level of the plant we get from tissue culture. Will it fruit within 3 years, or on the first very year it will flower?
Jadhav sir.
I think you have not understood my question. Suppose the tissue, the plant from which we are making the new plant, that is the explant, say mango plant, okay? When you take suppose the age of that plant is say 3-year-old, we have taken the merismatic tissue and we are propagating by tissue culture. Now, what will be the age of the plant as maturity wise, which we are getting from it?
Jadhav sir. Jadhav sir, you are not audible. Jadhav sir, please unmute yourself. Jadhav sir, please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Actually, some problem. I got to the disconnected.
Yeah.
I request you once, please ask the question.
Madam, please ask your question.
Sir, I'm asking about the age of the plant, explant, whatever explant we have taken for the tissue culture. Suppose the age of the plant is say 7 years in case of mango, and we have taken the merismatic tissue. What will be the age of the clones we are getting from that? Means the new plant we are getting as tissue culture. Will it be 7 years and it will flower in the same year, or it will be from the initial 1 year?
Okay. Actually, it is not depends on the age of the plant. When you initiated the plant, which have a wholly grown plant, that having a stem, leaves, roots, flowering stage, all these things, that is the whole character carry plant you can use for the tissue culture. And tissue culture gives only the Xerox plant, that's a true type plant. They could not reduce the period of the harvesting. They could not reduce the productivity, little bit increase the productivity. But I think so, I am little bit doubtful, but I think so. So if you initiated a planting material from 7 years old, 15 years old plant, so that doesn't matter anything, ma'am, because they required that time to give the fruits and flowers also.
No, I'm doubtful about it because, for example, bamboo, we take the explant, which is 40-year-old as an explant. So its life is say 100 years. It flower in 100 years. So rest of the 60 years it can. So if it is 90, will it flower within 10 years?
Sorry, ma'am. Actually, I don't have any that type of experience.
Sir? I may answer the question.
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Actually, ma'am, that is a monocarpic plant in bamboos. Once flowering, it will die. When
but it flowers in doesn't flower in a year. It takes at least 80-90 years to flower.
Yes. Actually, sir is telling any plant you can choose from the mother plant. That is initially itself you start. You are selecting 40 years or 10 years. That will not countable. Here as a tissue as a seed material, kind of seed.
So it will act as if the new plant has come up. The initial age is not considered, from which we have taken the explant.
No,
so
that is not
age is not in the picture. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. There is one question from Mr. Thank you, Kalidas, sir. There is one question from Ashish Kulkarni that is on Diphtheria plant. As the WhatsApp University always say, Diphtheria is a poisonous plant, so he has a question regarding the Diphtheria plant. So Jadhav sir, please reply his question.
Actually, in RAC member Diphtheria agglomeratum syngonium, they have some latex that is a little bit poisonous, but not higher levels. So the latex came out. They maybe allergic some persons. They have some allergy. for that plants. But in researchers and in some literatures, they quoted as a poisonous plant. Some dogs, and I read last journals and in some publications also, some dog or cat or that are going to die for the eating the Dipenbachia plant. But this is not a eating purpose. You can only see the beauty and look the nice plants. That is only one. But there is not reported if, due to the Dipenbachia, some peoples are dying or some happens. There is no report, sir. But it is little bit dangerous or having some chemical contents in the latex is the poisonous.
Thank you, Jadhav sir. Bhagyashree madam, Bhagyashree Deshmukh madam, you can ask your question now.
Yeah, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are
Yes,
audible,
yes,
madam.
yes, yes.
जादव सर आज का प्रेजेंटेशन बहुत ही इंफॉर्मेटिव अच्छा था। एक
Thank
मेरा
you.
क्वेश्चन है सर, टिश्यू कल्चर लैब के सेटअप के लिए कैपिटल कितना रिक्वायरमेंट रहता है? उसके लिए कोई लाइसेंस की जरूरी है क्या?
एक्चुअली टिश्यू कल्चर लैब के लिए आपको कितना कैपेसिटी का लैब करना है इसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है मैम। सपोज आपको 10 लाख प्लांट साल में बनाना है या 20 लाख बनाना है या 50 लाख बनाना है, उसके ऊपर प्रोजेक्ट का सब कुछ डिपेंड हो जाता है। फॉर एग्जांपल 10 लाख प्लांट आपको, मैं एक टेंटेटिव फिगर बोल रहा हूँ, 10 लाख प्लांट आपको साल में प्रोडक्शन करना है तो नियर अबाउट 75 लाख टू 1 करोड़ required for the setup tissue culture lab. And for tissue culture lab licensing is the department of DBT having a department. They give the accreditation for the tissue culture lab. If you search on the DBT website, you got the details, lab structure, lab design, costing, and all these things are available on DBT side. You just search it, you got all idea for the tissue culture lab, how to set up it, what is the expenditure, and what is the licensing for that tissue culture lab.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deshmukh madam. Sir, there is one interesting question from one of our participants. What is your message to other tissue culture companies with respect to importance of ornamental plants if future and its economical viability?
Actually, tissue culture industry, tissue culture production, there are many labs is working in India. They are engaged in a single plants also. You just see for banana, one variety, Grand 9 variety, there are many tissue culture lab, last 10 years, 20 years, they are engaged in producing only one plant, that is a banana plant. So in future, there is a very good opportunity for tissue culture plant, but it is a technically hygiene or technically sophisticated, I think so, techniques. So you can maintain the hygienic, you can maintain the disease free, you can maintain the sterility sequence of the lab, and having a good knowledge of the techniques, then it is good for the maximum production. And no doubt your selection of the plant, your production schedule, and your versatile planting material or versatile initiation in your lab, it gives the good economic to your organization. And multiple plants in ornamental, also in fruit, also in flowering, in aquatic, just give the details of that plant. So you can choose in what area you can working in a future that is good for in future. But no doubt in coming years, tissue culture having a good demand, tissue culture having a good scope, because majority of the out of India's lab, they are doing good work, having a huge big labs, but in India having a little bit small lab, and the technical knowledge is a little bit very low in India. And majority tissue culture persons, they are doing his own expertise and own knowledge, and just like a jugaad techniques maximum. So it is a very dangerous to the production.
Thank you, sir. As we all know that this field has a lot of opportunity, lot of potential.
Yes.
Now and ahead also. And now there is one question from Mr. Nilesh Vakchaure. Nilesh Vakchaure, please ask your question.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
you're audible.
Jadhav sir, namaskar.
Namaskar, sir.
I just wanted to know that currently in ornamentals, many new varieties are being imported from other countries.
Okay.
And we Indians are just multiplying.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the status of research and development for new varieties in our country right now? Or maybe in maybe in 5 years future,
Mm-hmm.
what should be our target? What would be the picture? Which area should we target? Because currently many tissue culture industries are focusing various different lines like forest plants, like fruit plants, like ornamentals. What is the status of research and development for developing our new varieties, and what should be our target in next 5 years?
Actually, in India, the research of the new varieties or new clones, I think so it is a little bit slow, because in India there are nothing, I don't know, but there are some companies, they are doing new varieties also, new patented varieties they can produce also, I think so. But in India, maximum we are doing only the multiplication. We are doing the only multiply the cultures. We are doing the only xerox of the, you just say, the many of the people, they can import the plant and multiplying here and sell it here. But in commercially, up to my knowledge today's now, there is no any organization to develop the new varieties and introduce in the market. But in you just see in flowering plant gerbera, in Holland companies, many companies are doing the gerbera's multiplication. Every year they introduce minimum 5 to 10 colors in the market. They can collaborate with the Indian companies, and every year they give the new varieties cultures to India, multiply it, and we can grow it. Just like many of the ornamental companies also abroad, in Holland, in other places, they can do the research work and supply the mother source to the other countries, just like China, Thailand, Indonesia, and other India also. They only multiply it and supply to back him or regenerate in our countries with the help of the royalty basis. But in India, there are many good and big source for the multiplication, for the research, but nowadays nobody can doing the research. If anybody can do that research area, they required a lot of times, lot of research technologists, lot of machineries involved, because mutation is the help of the physical method or chemical method. By physical method means you can give the radiations techniques, alpha rays, beta rays, gamma rays, or X-rays. They can establish the mutations. By you can mutant the plants by help of the chemically. You can with the just like some example colchicine treatment and other any chemicals. When you put on the media, the sudden change mutations is happen, then it is regenerate that plant. It is irritable or non-irritable, it is also a question. It's required a lot of time to regenerate the new plants. So mutation of breeding and somaconal variations, or this is the very genetical engineering or deep study, and some researchers may be working on that. But in commercially, in my knowledge, there is I don't have in my knowledge anybody can do the research for that. We just doing a xerox and multiplying the plants and supply in our market, sir. But it is a good coming era to develop the cultures by mutations or by any other methods. So it is a very good regeneration, sir.
Okay.
But majority of the companies, just like seed companies and some pesticides companies, they are using this technology for the high yielding, to develop the high yielding seed varieties. They are using the pesticides company. They are using tissue culture techniques for the disease resistant to introduce the disease resistance varieties.
New
They can
variety.
do the work, new variety. They can work, but I think so. This all the work should be done out of India. I think so, and maybe no, done in India also. But I am not aware of that, sir.
तो सर मैं वही जानना चाहता हूँ कि हम इंडियंस जो भी प्लेयर्स है टिश्यू कल्चर में, ऑर्नामेंटल्स में, तो हम लोग वो क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं? क्योंकि हम लोग तो फिर इंपोर्टेड वैरायटीज लाके मल्टीप्लाई करके तो डोमेस्टिक सेल ही कर रहे हैं।
That is
और
true,
मे
sir.
बी कोलैबोरेशन होगा तो कुछ एक्सपोर्ट भी हो रहा है, जैसे केएफ कर रहा है लार्ज स्केल पे, लेकिन दे आर जस्ट मल्टीप्लाइंग एंड एक्सपोर्टिंग, री एक्सपोर्टिंग with the
Sir,
help of their collaborators.
Yes, you are true, sir. But you just calculate the life of tissue culture in India. The first time tissue culture introduced by AVT, that I think so 70s, yes, 71. I think so. I don't have recognized for that. But in India, tissue culture technology today is also very new. Today is also in other European countries, the tissue culture, they have shifted his production house to the China and other countries, and they do only the research work. They do only research works, patented new varieties. They introduce new varieties and gives that culture to the other countries to only develop. When you started the tissue culture lab in your lab, you want to survive it, because we have a lot of hurdles in India. That light is not properly, other taxation, other civil construction, labor charges, water, and lot of things are the troubling to you. So what you can do, you multiplying the culture and earn the money and survive yourself. That is our first motto. So the researchers and research institute and government related organization, I think so, they are doing these things, and they can introduce the new varieties, and they can give that new varieties to the private companies for the development and circulation of the local market. That should be good for us. But normal tissue culture, just like me, I am doing a tissue culture from last 20 years. But from last 20 years, I am struggling for survival only. I can't go to the back to the for research, because we don't have like that pains. That should be done only the funded organization or government sectors or agriculture related universities, all these things. If they do the good that new varieties, we can multiply it, and we can purchase from that as a royalty basis. Just we can purchase from Holland or from European countries some varieties and give the royalty to that companies. Like
that is the current scenario. That's what is going on right now.
But I think so the private organization, just like me or just like you also, they are entrepreneurs. They are coming in the tissue culture or all these things. I think so it is a very difficult to develop a new variety and do the research for that. It requires many years, 10 years, 20 years for the suffering of the new varieties.
Oh. And sir,
Nilesh Fox. Yes, sir. Please ask your question, sir. We are running with the time now.
So I guess because the questions is they having a large of questions, so I completed my presentation is little bit small time.
Yeah. Vakchaure sir, please ask your question.
Sir, what would be the focus area for tissue culture industry in India for the next 5 years?
Sir,
what different thing we can see after maybe in the next 5 years?
Sir, focus area is the fruit plant. Just like banana, you can just choose the plant which are annual, biannual for fruit, because tree plant having a large time to take results. Because if you select the plant just like a pomegranate, many of the companies are doing a pomegranate, but your plant, you do the tissue culture and planted in a field, The result came out after 3 to 4 years. That is little bit lengthy process. Fruit area is also good. Flowering, majority flowering they can do. We can do the flowering plant with the help of the collaboration with other companies. The main source is the ornamental source. Main source is the vegetables also is good for the incoming, and aquatic also is the good options for the tissue cultures incoming in a year. So selection for the tissue culture is the foliage plant or I think so non-stem, non-woody plant is good for the incoming years. And biennial plant or just like a perennial shrubs and herbs is good for the tissue culture, which are used in a huge quantity in a landscaping and in a, other places, sir.
Sir, there are so many questions and we are running with the time. So I will take the last question, two questions of Mr. Prathamesh Jangam sir. And those are any question they can ask to our keynote speaker, Dilip Jadhav sir. Jadhav sir, I request you to put your phone number, cell number and your email ID and website on in the chat. So it will be helpful for all our participants.
Okay.
So, question is that from Jangam sir, what is the government assistance for tissue culture lab? The first question, and second question is, which country have good research in ornamental plants?
Okay.
Jadhav sir.
Yes, government give the near about 50% subsidy for the tissue culture lab, but the subsidy goes to the open, close, open. I don't know what type of, but up to the 1 crore capacity of the lab, government gives the 50% subsidy for the establishment of tissue culture lab with the newcomers and tissue culture persons. And also weaning and hardening, they also give that type of near about 30 to 50%. NHB and NHM. In Maharashtra, NHM and in central level, NHB gives the subsidy. You can just check on the NHB line. So there are subsidies for the tissue culture. And also, when you are registered in a DBT, Department of Biotechnology, the supply of the maximum forest tree, fruit tree, flowering tree, the government gives the order, our government gives the quantity to tissue culture lab. They can supply the government also, or some areas, some state and some region also.
Sir, I will take a last question of Abba Sahib Mule. Abba Sahib Mule, please ask your question.
Hello, Namaskar Abba Sahib. Hello.
Abba Sahib, please unmute yourself. आपको unmute कर लीजिए खुद को. Please ask your question.
Hello.
I think he has a network issue.
I have no any question about
No, there is a network.
Sir, you have network issue. You can ask him directly on the
nice
phone or
presentation.
on email. Sir, you have network issue. We are not able to hear you. Sir, Jadhav sir, it was, yes sir, yes sir.
No, I am giving my mobile number, WhatsApp mobile number. If anybody have questions, you can WhatsApp me on this number 9422523210. Can you write and show because
sir, please repeat your number, sir.
9422523210.
जाधव साहेब
नमस्कार.
नमस्कार. खूप छान. मला थोडस उशिरा माहिती मिळाली. मी सुरुवातीचं प्रेझेंटेशन पाहिलं नाही. मी आता हैदराबाद मध्ये आहे.
Okay, sir.
Sir, please ask your question in English.
Yes, sir. It's a very nice time to discuss on the webinar you arranged. Very informative webinar for all entrepreneurs and also the nurserymen. So thank you, Dilip Jadhav sir.
Thank you, sir.
We had a pioneer person in tissue culture and always talking about the ornamental plants. Very nice presentation and very nice organized. And moderator also very well organized the questions from all delegates. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all,
Thank you
sir.
very much. Jadhav, sir, we have to wrap here in a simple way. You have given all the necessary information to all our participants on today's topic, in vitro propagation for foliage plants. You rightly mentioned the methods of propagation, advantages of tissue culture, setup of tissue culture, and all the necessary information related to tissue culture lab. Even you are very rightly, correctly answered all the questions of all our participants. So on behalf of Indian Nurserymen Association, I am thankful to you for your valuable time and sharing a valuable knowledge with all of us. So
Thank
on
you.
behalf of Indian Nurserymen Association, once again, I'm thankful to you. I also thanks for, to all our participants who have always joined with us for this webinars, and our team of Indian Nurserymen Association, especially I will thanks to Pinky Madam, Jatin Saab, Prachi Madam. They are taking a lot of efforts for these webinars. So thanks to all the INA members, INA team, and all the participants, and especially once again, I'm thankful to Dilip Jadhav sir for sparing his valuable time and knowledge with us. So see you in the next webinar. Till then, have a nice time to everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
खूप छान होता. आभार.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. अनम्यूट करून तेवढंच थँक्यू.